Okay, so today we are joined by some homegrown talent in the south side of Chicago. He was a first round pick in the Null. Played a couple seasons in the EJHL. Please welcome to the show, Dan Armijo. How you doing, man?
Hey man, not too bad. How are you guys, fellas?
Not so bad.
Feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on, man. So let's get right into it. So growing up in around the time when you were playing in Illinois, it wasn't really that big of a hockey hotspot. So where were you playing that kind of got you on the radar for the Null?
Oh, geez. I think it all started way back in youth hockey, to be honest with you. I think, well, let me tell you a quick story. So when I was maybe my first year of ever playing ice hockey before, I had just gotten through all the learn to skates. I just finally got onto a house league team, right? And we had a number of games. And the last game of the year, I had no goals the entire year. I'd never scored a goal in my life. And the puck ended up bouncing off the pad of the goalie. I got it right in front of the net, put it in the empty net, and it just exploded with emotion. It was probably the greatest feeling I had ever felt as a child. And after that, I realized I wanted to score goals. I wanted to score goals. So I went to the St. Jude Knights, and I started out with their whatever you want to call it, Central States or Gold, whatever it is. Played a couple of years of AA hockey, and then my mom and dad moved me to the AAA level, and that was probably Pee Wee Major, Pee Wee Minor. So from Pee Wee Minor all the way to midgets, I had an opportunity to play on many different teams, many different dynamics. And what I mean by that is simply, maybe you've got a defensive team and you guys are a 500 club, or maybe you're a dominator in the league, and I've kind of seen both ends of the spectrum. And I think what's going to make a hockey player more well-rounded is being able to function on different kinds of teams that have different styles, and realizing your role, and just trying to utilize yourself the best you can for that role, because it's a team sport. So anyway, midget year came along. I was playing at the Chicago Mission. I think, the only returning player from the midget minor team up to the midget major team. We ended up having a fantastic season. We won state, we won regionals, went to nationals, and we kind of screwed the pooch in nationals a little bit, not to lie, but a lot of good came out of that. We got a lot of exposure from scouts. We had played in some very nice barns and arenas around the country, and lo and behold, I ended up getting a call a day before the USHL draft, and they told me that the Omaha Lancers might select me, and that ended up happening. I got maybe drafted as a 15th round pick, so there was no guarantee that I was going to make the team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what ended up happening was I tried out for the team. I just had to go to the open tryout, and by the end of the tryout, I had actually made the team. And at the time, they were the number one team in the USHL. So it was like the 2009 Chicago Blackhawks. Our team was absolutely stacked with talent. But yeah, that's basically how it all started, and what became of it.
Nice. It's not too bad.
Just
Yes,
a quick story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Quick
little
run
bit of a longer story.
No,
Hey,
that's
but I'm sorry, fellas, but I just never a dry moment for me. I get nervous.
Oh no, no worries.
oh, that's good. So what got you into hockey? Like, why'd you start as a kid?
Oh man, probably my father. My father was always a big hockey guy, but he really never got to play the game. So I think he was trying to live vicariously through me, and he recognized my dream and his dream together, and I guess that was kind of how it all started. My dad.
I feel like that's most of the stories.
What's that, fellas?
Oh, I would say that's pretty similar to what I had too. Like, my dad grew up playing like football and baseball, and then I got a chance to play hockey, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, you should keep doing that. Like, it's pretty fucking awesome."
Yeah, see, I think the dads love it more than the kids do half the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I think
I feel
true.
like that's how most hockey players start, is Your dads are just trying to be them for a little bit longer, you know?
There you go. There you go. That's the perfect answer.
That's pretty great. Yeah, on those teams that you played with growing up in like the AAA level and such, did you end up playing with any guys that made the show or anything, or maybe playing against some guys that might have made it pretty big?
That's a good question. Yeah, and I would say maybe around the Pee Wee level, there was guys like let's see, I remember Brett Motherwell. He was an AHL guy. Jared Bull, who played on my team at the Chicago Young Americans. He was a big fighter for Columbus Blue Jackets a number of years. Number 40, Boley, shout out. Let me think. Well, Gino Paisolini, that's another one. Big Italian kid. You know, he's a big French kid with the last name Paisolini. You know, no, but he fought for the Flyers a little bit. And then Mikey Brown, another kind of fighter. He played for the Toronto Maple Leafs, San Jose Sharks, all that, you know. And then in competition, I would see guys like Keith Yandel. I would see guys like Sidney Crosby. I would see guys like Phil Kessel. You name it.
Yeah. All right, so I gotta ask. You got any good Phil Kessel stories from when you played against him or anything like that?
I actually do.
Yes.
Go.
Okay. So we're in Madison, Wisconsin, and Bob Suter is the coach of the Madison Capitals at the time. Okay, and my coach Brad Sabin, he was a master of getting under people's skin. You know. So he would be yelling across the bench at Suter and just pissing the guy off to no end. Anyway, they had Phil, and Phil was like their top guy. You know, they would protect Phil at all costs, you know, and he was kind of a showboat. We ended up pounding him pretty good, 6-2 one game. And he came down the right wing boards like he always used to, and he would cut to the middle of the ice and shoot the puck. Well, when he went to do that, I kind of just baseball swung his wrist for some reason. I don't really know why I did that. I just did. And kid ended up with a broken wrist and was out for 4 weeks. Oops.
Jesus.
Oops.
Yeah, but Fat Phil, he's in Phoenix now.
That's just taking a baseball swing to somebody's wrist when you're up 6-2.
Yeah, you know, I really hated the guy, and I just hated his competitiveness that late in the game. I'm saying to myself, why are you going so hard, buddy? You know, making me back check 500 feet. Forget it.
Oh my God.
He probably never forgot about that one either.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know, I would hope so. What's that, buddy?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I'm sure. Just tweet it at him, and he'll just be like, "That motherfucker."
That's the guy.
Right? Yeah, send me that X-ray so you can autograph it for me.
Oh my God, that's so great.
Oh man.
Hell yeah.
So playing, what you said you want to score as many goals as possible. So what kind of role player did you think you kind of would best describe you as?
That's a good question too. From the Bantam years, Pee Wee up through Bantam and midget, I was always like a top 6 guy. I'd usually play on the second power play, and I'd have anywhere between 70 and 90 points a year. So I was doing pretty well there. But once I got up to junior hockey, especially with their coaching staff being the way that it is, hockey's a business, and you know, a lot of times on teams they've got their power play set. You know, so you come into an organization and you may not ever get to see the ice that way. So I kind of started to look for other ways to get ice time, and those just were through penalty killing, through being really smart on the wall, being able to chip pucks out or get them to the centerman, keep the play moving north. So it was all just kind of things like that got me extra ice. And I think I was always like a very, very solid third line guy because, you know, you need that tenacity. You need a finisher as well. But nonetheless, I could play on the top 6. I just usually played top 9. That's all. So that was kind of my role. And, you know, it's kind of hard to accept that sometimes. You're a younger guy, you score a lot of goals, and you grow up and you realize you're a defensive player, you know, but that's hockey, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, That's a good way to put it, though. Real team guy. I'm a top 6 player, but for the
Yeah.
team, I'll be top 9.
Yeah, humble brag. Humble
Yeah,
brag.
exactly. So I mean, any big fights that come to mind, or any big name fights at all?
Oh, geez. Are you referring to other players or me versus other guys?
Well, you versus other guys, or any big fights that you really remember that like stick out for anybody, really?
Oh, geez. Well, as you guys pointed out earlier, in my suitcase of a year, I in the North American Hockey League. Let's see. I saw some pretty incredible stuff 2 times. Once saw Dustin Bufflin. Now this was at a summer camp, maybe for prospects or whatever. And there was a kid. I'm not going to mention his name because who knows who listens. But there was a particular kid who would try to beat up on the other guys a little bit and was kind of rough with the forwards in the corners and doing dirty shit, hitting guys from behind, that kind of thing. So the kid drills me from behind in the right wing boards at Orland Park Ice Arena. And before I could even get up, Big Buff ran over there or skated over there, whatever the hell he did. And he just pummeled the living shit out of this guy. And I looked at him and said, "Thanks, man." And he goes, "No problem," and just skated away. And that was like the last time I ever spoke to him. Isn't that funny?
He's just always been on people like ever since he was a kid, just going at it.
Right. And then maybe one more. I had a buddy named Dale Mashonsky, and he played with me at the Mission. And then he ended up playing at Youngstown and Toledo. But when I got traded to Toledo, he got traded to Youngstown. So my first game with Toledo, he was playing his first game with Youngstown. So he skates up to me in first period and says, "Next shift." So I said, "Yeah, no problem, we'll do it." So we fought in front of the crowd. I actually jerseyed him right away, like I always do with Dale. I always tune him up. But once I got that jersey over his head, the ref kind of grabbed my arms and restrained me just enough for Dale to get a nick or two in on my face, but that was about it. But I think that's the interesting thing about hockey. It's entertaining. It's also a business, and you realize people are paying money to come watch the game. I think those things are important for hockey, not only strategically in the game itself, but just for the fans, entertainment.
I think what's absolutely hilarious is the fact that you mentioned Dan Machonsky, because he was on my fucking college team when I was at Eastern Illinois University.
Yeah, you know him, right? You know Crazy Dale, right?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Oh, what a character.
Yeah, so that's great. Yeah, he got jerseyed right away.
Oh my God, that's
short work.
Fantastic. I can't believe that. Wait, did he just say?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did say that name, right? All right, that was fucking great.
Yes, I was hoping you guys might know the kid. Yeah, he was a Flames kid, remember?
Oh, yeah. That's funny. Yeah. That's fucking good.
Yeah, good guy. Good guy, that Dale kid. His dad named him Dale because of Dale Earnhardt was his favorite race car driver and athlete, so he named his son Dale. Shit you not. Oh, boy. You guys seem you guys are a good group of guys over there. You got what do you got you got the game on? Got some lawn chairs outside. What are you guys doing?
We're all different areas.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All spread out.
Well, we could have syncopated. We could have all grilled at the same time or something.
Oh yeah,
that'd been good.
Definitely, we gotta do that again. We actually have another member who is actually he had to go to London and enjoy some travel, so he couldn't be here for this. But
apparently he's shit faced right now.
Man, too bad we don't have him on.
Yeah. Oh God. No, we don't want him on. Trust me. He FaceTimed me earlier. It's not gonna go. It would not go well.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Blackout status, huh? Crocodile Dundee. Oh boy.
Oh God.
So do you? So going into like these, these junior teams and all that, is there any initiation process or anything like you just absolutely nuts that you guys did to the younger guys, or anything you experienced like that? Like any crazy stories you can tell us?
Oh my gosh.
That you can feel comfortable telling?
Oh yeah, I did think about that. But yeah, I think this one's appropriate. When I got to Toledo, they were into that whole kind of initiation crap, So we had this big rookie party, and we did it at a college. No, I'm sorry, we did it at some cottage somewhere in Bumfuck, Michigan, somewhere, and we had some specific activities. All the guys had to get naked in front of like 70 people, girls, everybody. It's freezing cold outside,
It's really embarrassing.
Just terrible. But the funny thing is that one of the veterans, who was just insanely cool, nice guy, great guy, wild guy, he actually jumped in just to do it with us. So he wanted to do it. So it's kind of initiating. And it's just like, hey man, this guy's willing to do it. Why not?
Yeah, just for the fun of it.
So,
why not?
Yeah. So we had to stick a marshmallow in between your butt cheeks, and you had to run like 2 laps around the outside of his house, bare ass naked, and then the last guy had to eat his marshmallow.
That's like just his marshmallow, right? Not everybody's.
Oh yeah, I don't think I would at least let him make s'mores out of it if that was the case.
Oh God, that's unreal.
So that the fastest 2 laps you've ever done?
What's that now?
Was that the fastest 2 laps that you've ever done in your life?
I would think they were the most terrifying, but what an adrenaline rush! And I was just hoping that nobody would see my pecker for more than 3 seconds.
I'd be pushing people over and knocking them down. Be like, no, way am I coming in last?
Yeah, I think some of the guys were dogging it on purpose. What does that say? I don't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't catch me doing that.
Absolutely not.
I know there's sometimes you guys have like a rookie dinner too. Was there any rookie dinner, like make them dress up like crazy or anything like that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, in Boston we got lucky. We had only 5 returning veterans my 3rd year of junior, and a team full of rookies. So
that makes it really easy.
Yes, so we were able to go to some like 5-star restaurant in downtown Boston. I mean, Teddy Bruschi and his family, one of the New England football players at the time, big name guy. He's sitting in a corner with his family. And actually, when he pulled out of the restaurant, we wanted to see what he would be driving. We said, "Oh my God, it's Teddy Bruschi." Well, he valeted his minivan and he got in and left. Couldn't believe it, but that's Boston for you. So humble, So goddamn humble.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But we did the rookie dinner. We had a pretty good tab. Everybody got sambuca and probably 5 steaks, something. I don't know. Everybody got leftovers. I think the bill was maybe around $1,200 or something. But hey, we didn't do anything degrading to anybody ever like that. I mean, how could you? Those are your brothers. I mean, it's one thing to fuck around with people, but another thing to take it to the extreme, because people can really get screwed up mentally from that kind of stuff. You just don't want it on your team,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like you said, you guys are all in it together. Why screw with one person when at the end of the day you guys are all together anyways? That's
exactly right, because even if he's your weakest link, that's only as good as your worst player, and usually on a great team the worst player is going to fluctuate a little bit. It's not always going to be the same guy. So that's kind of a good thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you still skating at all? Men's league, anything like that?
Yeah, the guys will drag me out to beer league every once in a while, but I'm not happy with my point totals out there. They're not really existent. I'm lucky to get a rebound goal here and there, make it up and down the ice a few times. No, I do private training with a number of athletes throughout the Chicagoland area. I do private lessons with groups, with forwards, defensemen, goalies, you name it. And I've also been coaching hockey the last 4 years. The last 4 years I've been coaching. I had the Chicago Hawks 10 and under Central States team. I had the assistant job with Steve Pops, who you guys might know the name. He was a Chicago Blackhawk, St. Louis Blue. Yep,
absolutely.
So I was one of his assistants. Let's see, I coached high school hockey in Milwaukee, and the team had never never won a damn thing. And we ended up winning league that year and losing a heartbreaker in state. But I've kind of transitioned into, really trying to study the game, but, from the perspective of the bench and not so much as the player anymore,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a change up going from just on the bench to behind the bench, huh?
It's a big change, and you realize things about yourself, when you get back there, I don't know. It kind of made me change the way I saw the game and the way I watched the game. And I feel like that's the great thing about hockey is, you're constantly learning new things. And when you watch games, you can really start to see, certain playing styles and how they stand out and how they, help and hurt or hinder the team, and I think, being able to do that is much more rewarding than lacing them up every day and taking a puck to the balls,
Yeah, you just get to watch it. You don't have to actually do it.
Oh God, yeah, exactly. I want to stand there and blow the whistle, tell you how bad you are.
Has there been like a tough transition, going from that position? Because, the game has changed so much back from when you were playing competitively to like what it is now. I mean, have you noticed any growing pains in that result and in that area?
I would, yes, I would say, in fact, I have. And I think a lot of other guys, my age group, the 86s, were on the cusp of when they stopped taking 21-year-old freshmen. Because usually the way they did it in America was, you played junior hockey from 18 to 21, and then you went on to play college. So you had these 21-year-old freshmen, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that year, my first year of junior, they cut that way down, and they started looking at younger prospects. So a lot of the 21-year-old guys kind of got tossed aside because the game had changed. And I think with the stuff that I was doing in terms of the teams I was on and the skills that I was always trying to improve, which was always skating and stick handling, skating, stick handling, shooting, puck protection, that kind of thing. And I think as I watch the league, and that's why I mentioned earlier, watching the games is so important to learning development. That I've kind of figured out how to get a lot of results out of an hour practice. You split them up into small groups. You have them playing in really small areas. Mostly game little games. 2-on-2, right in front of the net, that kind of stuff. And I think that's kind of the new way of doing it, and it seems like it's paying off, especially for USA in hockey the last few years. And I mean, look at the women's Olympic team. What a great job they've done. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, holy cow, look at what USA was, the World Juniors and everything, and how many players got drafted this year in the first round and everything. But yeah,
that's not crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. I think it was the same amount of USA and Canadians in the first round drafted. But yeah, it's kind of cool that you say like it's kind of transitioning to like small games and practices and stuff like that. Because I felt like when I was playing, like that was the best way to like learn those kind of things. Because you need the game situation, you need that competitiveness, but like in the small areas, it just makes those skills like enhanced, I feel like. And then when you get into the big open ice, it's just makes everything so much easier.
That's easier to transfer.
Exactly. You're playing in that real confined space, or maybe you take a lane away by putting a big piece of rubber foam across an area so the guys have to sauce it over. Just little tiny things that teach them how to be very skillful in tight, in close. Mm-hmm. And I think that really, if you build that type of balance and coordination with players and you teach them how to move around the ice as a unit of five, you're really going to see nice results,
Yeah, absolutely. When you're doing like training and like personal training or anything like that, is there anything like you specifically like to focus on with players?
I kind of do it by a needs basis. I will usually do an evaluation if I'm not familiar with the player. I'll have him skate, do a number of drills, and I'll see where he's weak. And then I will, talk to mom and dad and say, hey, listen, if we're going to make him a well-rounded player here, we're going to fix this, this, and this. But as far as the weight training and stuff, I like to work with the Bantam kids, and they're not really at the weightlifting level just yet. They're getting close. But I wouldn't put them into full-on powerlifting at that age just yet, Mm. So I kind of stick to just stick handling, shooting, and defense stuff. Gap control, using your stick the right way, breaking out with pressure on you. Having guys weave through lanes and just showing people all the options out there at all times. I feel like once you keep doing that with them and you keep showing them that, the kids start to evolve because they start seeing the game that way, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But, yeah,
Yes.
good stuff so far, fellas. Really good stuff. And I want to say thank you again for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. I mean, I love to talk hockey. I'll sit in my garage and talk to myself.
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't do this, that's all I'd be doing anyway, too. So I hear you on
Way
that.
too excited.
Yeah.
Way too excited for this every week. And then all we do when we first start up is talk about cap friendly, like nonstop. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, so
there you go.
So, are you Hawks fan, I'm assuming, then?
You know, yeah, I do. I follow the league. Let's just say that I don't necessarily like to call myself a Blackhawks fan, but yes, I would always support the hometown team. But I do just really enjoy watching the NHL. You know?
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel like we all are. We're Hawks fans, but we more hockey fans than anything.
right, fuck the Blues though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but definitely fuck the Blues.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, the Blues won me a pretty good chunk of money.
Yeah, they did all right for themselves.
Yes, they did. They did. And hey, their team was in last place in January, and they come out of there with a rookie goaltender and end up stealing the show. That was great.
That's why hockey is the best sport, and you don't see that anywhere else.
No, you don't. And let me ask you guys a question. What do you guys think of the Chicago Blackhawks roster right now at this moment? I'd like to hear all your thoughts. What do you guys think?
Well, personally, I think they're looking pretty solid. I like what they have on offense. I think their top six is very solid. They got a lot of scoring depth. I've liked the moves that they've made for the most part so far. Defense has definitely gotten better. It's not great still, but it's definitely gotten better. And I mean, having Leonard as a backup to Crawford, if they can split the time or whatever, it's going to be better. Yeah, and I mean, looking at it compared to the last 2 years, anything's going to be better, and I think they've definitely improved. So I'm excited for the season coming up. I don't know how you guys feel.
Me too. What else, fellas? Tell me, please.
Well, I mean,
guaranteed Blackhawks playoffs.
I did.
Yeah, I'm going with as well. I mean, you get a whole another year of Strome and DeBrincat together, just creating magic. You just had
yes, sir.
Daves and like Kane coming off of career seasons as well. Like, I'm pretty sure like Kane's going to still be at least a point per game player. Like, DeBrincat put up 40 plus goals. He can probably do that again. Like, with a whole year of Strome, he might be able to hit 50. They got better on defense with Oli Mata and Calvin DeHaan coming in. Like, they brought Shaw back to bring that grit. They got Zach Smith to bring that grit.
Carpenter.
I mean, bringing in a Vezina goaltender, like a Vezina finalist goaltender in Laner, like, I've seen nothing but like additions with like not many subtractions that are like really harmful. Like,
yeah, I mean, when you're subtracting guys like Chris Kunitz and Artem Anisimov with the contract that he had, and you're bringing in the guys that you did bring in, and I mean, I'm still not sold on the Yoki Haru for Nylander trade, but I'm excited to see what Nylander can do. And then Kirby Dach has been lighting it up in the little CPHL that they've been playing.
Yeah, Jarom's been able to watch the kids play at the CPHL.
I got to
than we do at what Doc and both of us have coming.
Yeah, so the company I work for actually puts on the CPHL, so I do some of the filming for their social media. So I was actually on the bench yesterday.
Have you heard of like the CPHL at all?
No, I haven't.
So
please fill me in.
Yeah, so the CPHL is it's a summer, basically essentially a summer professional beer league. There's 4 teams, 4 pro teams. There's guys like Taze played.
Is this in Minnesota?
No, this is in Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, continue.
Yeah, so it's
the Beauty League, right?
Yeah, the Beauty League's Minnesota.
The Minnesota one, yeah.
Yeah, this one is at this one's in like Rosemont at like the 5th Third Ice Arena or something.
No, not Rosemont. No, it's at the Blackhawks practice arena.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't it like, I don't know, whatever. No. But either way, it has like Hawks players and players from like the Chicagoland area that are like in the NHL and like semi-pro players, as well as like Kendall Coyne is like on one of the teams.
Yeah, she does pretty well. Yeah, she's great out there.
And they had like Blackhawks prospects are out there too, and so he's been doing. I'll let him talk more. Fuck it.
Yeah. So yesterday, Boquist, Kirby Dach, Enwistle, Boudin, Chris, and Dennis Gilbert were all playing. So they're like 6 of their like highly touted prospects right now. We're all out there, and I was fortunate enough to like be on the bench for them, filming some of their stuff. And I don't know how my footage turned out because I was just mesmerized by what some of these kids were doing.
Yeah, aren't they such high skilled players? I mean, you don't see that normally in a hockey game because they're playing structured hockey. But when you see these kids by themselves with their sticks, messing around, you really realize, wow, this kid has an incredible talent.
What blows my mind is Boquist because he's a defenseman. He's going to be probably our top defenseman in probably 5 or less years, and he's out there with. You think Patrick Kane was teaching him like one-on-one, these stick handling drills and all that because he's just out there walking guys and just making it look so easy. I mean, and it's like there's a couple like developmental players that play like Michigan and all that out there, but he's walking around guys that are in the NHL. And this is like a 19-year-old kid out here proving that he's ready for this. So if he gets the shot to play in the show this year, I mean, I'm not gonna hate that. I'm curious where he'll play, but I am not gonna hate that. He's gonna be absolutely amazing.
That's awesome. Even if we can get him 24 games, let's see how he does with that. But if you have that kind of confidence in him, I would be really interested to see this kid get some ice.
Definitely.
Oh, absolutely. Him and Kirby Doc, I'd love to see get their like 9 or so games at least before it becomes like burning off a year of their contract, and just see what they have to show on the NHL ice. It'd be fucking great.
Where's Doc playing right now?
He was drafted out of, was it the development program?
No, it was like
right?
Yeah.
Where's he from?
UHL, but I mean he's at the development camp the last couple of weeks. They've been showing him around. He's like the prized possession of the Hawks, like everything. He's going to be at the convention this weekend, and I don't know. We'll see.
Wow. That's exciting.
Yeah.
All right, well, Dan, we thank you so much, for you coming on. But before we let you go, one question we love asking anybody that comes on is, what is your favorite all-time hockey memory, whether it's from you playing or you watching?
Man, I would have to say it would definitely be a playing moment. Team Illinois at the time and the Mission were neck and neck all year. TI was rated number 2 in the country, and we were number 3. So we were both going at each other pretty hard, and we had beaten them a few times. They had beaten us a few times. And at state, we had 9 seconds left, and they iced the puck. So we ended up getting a face-off in the offensive zone. We run a play that we used to run all year. The play ends up working. The puck slides through the goaltender's pads with like 3 seconds left on the clock, 1 second left on the clock, something like that. We tied the game. So we went a few overtimes, and puck came ringing around the glass. Defenseman made a poor play, and I picked it off on the wall. I hit the centerman with the pass in the slot. He passed it to the defenseman, streaking to the net, and we ended up being state champions. But I think more importantly, state for us was against another powerhouse. So it was a very serious test of character at that moment. I would say that.
Awesome.
Yeah, especially with close game, late, down by 1, couple seconds left, is being able to tie it up and not giving up. That's awesome.
Oh, geez, man, was it a nail biter? But probably one of the greatest memories of my entire life, fellas.
Yeah, that's hockey for you. No matter how far you go, you always have the best memories of your life from hockey.
And the best buddies too, right?
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
That's all
right,
of us.
That's right, boys.
All right, man.
Hey guys, thanks for having me, and enjoy your evening. Hopefully, see you guys around the rink or hockey somewhere.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Definitely. Thanks a lot, man.
Have a good one,
All
bud.
right, thanks, guys. You too. Bye.